Mahabang discussion na kasi walang mahabang question and answer.
Sabi ko wala si Dr. Sa nakukuha yung oras niya.
Ano mo, late mo tayo start?
apparently one of our speakers aren't coming, so we only have Mr. Rabenes and Mr. Matalang for our speakers, as our speakers today. So good afternoon, and once again, I hope you guys had a good break. Let's reconvene and let's start with our first speaker, Mr. Rodrigo.
Isa po mapagpalayang araw. Ang pamagat po ng aking papel ay Talaangkanan ng salitang Pilipino. So, meron po akong tatlong layunin kung bakit ito yung ginawa kong isang pananaliksik. Una ay magkaroon ng isang pagpapanayin tungkol sa ating tunay na pagkakakilanlan. Ang pangalawa po ay isingin ang nasyonalismong nasagda sa isang talamak na nakakarimarin na makabanyagang kaisipan at kamalayan. At pangatlo ay pukawin at linangin ang diwa ng pakikibaka laban sa sagatutong sakit panlipunan. So, sabi po ni Renato Constantino sa kanyang akda, News Education of the Filipinos, ang konsepto ng pagkabansa ng Pilipino ay isang mahalagang kasangkapan ng pagtatasa, pati na rin ang konseptong sandata para sa pakikibaka. Dito po makikita natin na isang napakahalagang pagpapanayihin ang paghugot sa ating tunay na pagkakakilanlan. Sapagkat sabi nga, ito po ang mga bagay nito ay inumpisahan ng mga mananalaysay sa kasaysayan na sinda Agoncillo at Renato Constantino na tinignan nila ang kasaysayan ng Pilipinas sa pamamagitan ng Pilipinong pananaw. At ito po ay sinundan ng iba't ibang akademikong pagpapaliwanag ng mga iba't ibang diskurso o academic theorizing. Kagaya po ng psikologiyang Pilipino, dyan po yung tinatawag din natin sa ating field na pilosopiyang Pilipino. Pero, andun po yung yung napakalaking pangkahalatan na meron tayong layunin o silang layunin ng pagtagisi ng balikan at halong-halin yung tinatawag na pagka-Pilipinong pagkakakilanlan na nakatago sa talamak na kanluraning kaisipan at kamalayan. So, yun po yung siguro kanina sa ating ayong keynote ni Dr. Yu, yung speech ni Dr. Yu ay dito muling nagkaroon ng isang pagbabalangkas kung ano nga ba yung tinatawag na Diwang Pilipino. So, ito po yung paglalahad ko ng suliranin. Ang papel na ito ay nais ipabatid na ang pagpapalawi ng Pilipinismo ay isang makabanyagang hapangin at kaisipan sapagkat nakapaloob dito ang isang kolonyal at makabagong kolonyal na pagkakalampa. At para marating ko po yung konklusyon o binubuha kong ito ay ginamitan ko ng isang makasaysayang materialistang Talaangkanan. So ito po ay historical materialist genealogy. So si Nietzsche, meron siyang genealogy. Ako, ginamit ko si Marx para tingnan ang pagpusad ng dialektiko ng Pilipinas sa pamamagitan ng historical materialism. So ito pong ang aking pananaliksik ay hinati ko sa 4 na bahagi. Una, ang muling pagbisita sa pagpapanaya sa Balangkas. Then, pangalawa ay papakita ko ng Pilipinisasyon bilang isang militarisasyon ng panahon ng mga Kastila. At pangatlo ay ang Pilipinisasyon bilang isang klase ng Amerikanisasyon. At pang-apat, Pilipinisasyon bilang makabagong kolonyal na pagkakalampa. So, tingnan po muna natin kung ano ba talagang ibig sabihin ng Talaangkanan ng makasaysayang materialismo. So, ang Talaangkanan ay galing sa dalawang salitang ugat, tala at angkan. Ang tala ay nanganguluan ng listahan o dokumento. Sa kabilang pananaw, ang angkan ay nanganguluan lahi o lipi. Sa mga katuwid, ang Talaangkanan ay masusi, masigasi, at metikulosong pagkip-kip at paglalahad ng mga pinagmulan ng mga bagay-bagay. So, titingnan po, ito po ay binasa ko sa makasaysayang historical materialism ni Karl Marx sa kanyang Critique of Political Economy na sinabi niya na ang lipunan ay nahahati sa dalawang bahagi. Meron po tayong tinatawag na infrastructure o yung base at meron tayong tinatawag na superstructure. So yung infrastructure is divided into the means of production at saka po yung relation of production. At yung superstructure ng lipunan ay tinatawag na ideological elements in the society. At dito po nakikita natin, nasabi ni Karl Marx, ang revolusyon ay may pagdanais na ito ay paggalaw ng, kung mapapansin natin, merong tinatawag sila na ang revolution ay nangyayari sapagkat nagkakaroon ng conflict ang infrastructure sa superstructure and it would lead into another what we call society. So ito yung konsepto ng revolution. Kaya pag sinabi natin revolution, ito ay tumutukoy sa pangkahalatang pagbabago sa lipunan. Pag sinabi natin reformasyon, ito ay tumutukoy lamang sa konting pagbabago sa lipunan. Kaya po, dito makikita natin, ang ginawa ko, binalangkas ko ang kasaysayan ng Pilipinas sa 4 na direktiko na paggalaw. Una, nandiyan po yung panahon bago dumating ang mga mananakop. Ang pangalawa, panahon ng mga Kastila. Ang pangatlo, panahon ng mga Amerikano. At ang pang-apat ay panahon ng mga bagong imperialismo. At tinignan ko po dito yung tinatawag na pagka-Pilipino. Ano nga ba ang pagka-Pilipino sa panahon ng bago dumating ng mga mananakop? Ano ang pagka-Pilipino nung panahon ng mga Kastila? Ano ang pagka-Pilipino nung panahon ng mga Amerikano? At ano ang pagka-Pilipino sa kasalukuyang panahon? Dahil sa akin, bilang isang nag-aaral, P-Marks, tinitingnan ko ang mga bagay-bagay sa pamamagitan ng paggalaw ng lipunan, directive ko ng lipunan. Okay? So yung pagka-Pilipino sa aking assumption ay isa ring klase ng superstructure. Kung sino may hawak ng means of production o paraan ng magawa, siya din ang may hawak ng superstructure. At yung pagka-Pilipino bilang isang superstructure, ay siya ang may hawak din doon ay yung may kapangyarihan sa paraan ng paggawa. So, ngayon, syempre, ipuput ko kung bakit ang Pilipinisasyon ay isang klase ng Hispanisasyon. Ang Pilipino ay syempre galing sa salitang Las Islas Pilipinas. Ito ay pinangalan ni Villalobos nung makarating siya sa ating kapuluan. So, nung unang panahon, meron tayong pagkakapangkat-pangkat ng tao. Andyan yung mga Peninsulares, Mestizo, at Indio. So, ang mga Peninsulares ay mga Kastilang ipinanganak sa Peninsula, sa Spain. Ang mga Insulares ay mga Kastila na pinanganak sa Pilipinas. At ang mga Mestizo, ito yung mga Creole, Spanish Creoles. At ang mga Indio, ito yung mga tinatawag nating natives. At sabi ng mga nag-aaral sa kasaysayan, sino ang Pilipino dito? So, kung mapapansin natin, ang Pilipino ay tumutukoy sa mga Insulares. Kaya maling isang proposition na sabihin natin na nung panahon ng mga Kastila, ang mga Pilipino ay api. Dahil ang mga Pilipino noon ay mga Insulares at hindi sila mga Indio. So ngayon, meron pa tayong isang konsepto doon dito na pwede natin pag-aralan. Ano ang ilustrado? Ang ilustrado, sila ay mga Indio na gustong humingi ng pagbabago sa lipunan. Gusto na humingi sila ng reformation. At ito yung mga hinihingi nila. Ito, pinag-aralan natin sa kasaysayan. Una, magkaroon ng pagkakapantay-pantay. Hindi pagkakapantay-pantay ng Pilipino at mga Kastila. Dahil ang mga Pilipino doon ay Kastila. Kasunod, maging ganap ng probinsya ang Las Islas Pilipinas ng inang Espanya. At pangatlo, ituro ang Espanyol bilang kasangkapan ng pagkakatuto. At pang-apat, magkaroon ng tinatawag ang Las Islas Pilipinas sa Cortes ng Espanya at pang-lima, sekularisasyon sa kabayan. Dito, mapapansin natin na ang mga ilustrado ng mga Indio ay humihingi ng pagbabago sa lipunan sa pamamagitan ng Hispanisasyon. Pero yung Hispanisasyon na yun, gusto nilang maging Pilipino, pero yung Hispanisasyon na yun ay also a Filipinization. So, ang problema dito, makikita natin na ang problema na kinakaharap ng mga Indio ay hindi nila nakikita yung tunay nilang pagkakailanlan bilang mga katutubo. Sapagkat ang nagiging problema nila ay na-identify nila yung sarili nila na maging mga Spaniard-like individuals. So, yun yung isang problema dyan. So, kaya nga, isang napaka-critical na kung titingnan mo, itong mga ilustrado ito, na nakibahagi sa La Solidaridad ay hindi nasyonalistang pagpapanaya ang nais iparating. Sapagkat ang hinihingi nila ay hindi ka ayon sa tinatawag nating nationalistic ideals. Kasi ang hinihingi nila ay Hispanisation. Kaya nga si Rizal, nagbago siya, bigla siyang after writing the Noli Me Tangere, biglang nagbago siya ng proyekto. Nakita niya na kailangan siya gumawa ng anotasyon, hindi Morgan, ipakita ng may sibilisasyon bago dumating ang mga mananakop. So ipinakita niya sa annotation, hindi Morgan. So ngayon, tingnan natin, kapag Pilipinisasyon bilang Amerikanisasyon, dito makikita natin na nung dumating ang mga Amerikano sa Pilipinas, ang mga Indio ay naging Pilipino. Magugulitan natin na yung mga hinihingi ng mga reformista ay hindi naibigay ng mga Kastila. Na ito ay naaayon sa konstitusyon na meron po noon sa Espanya. Kaya naman sila, kaya doon yung battlefield eh. Pero dito makikita natin na ito ang mga bagay nito ay kusang ibinigay o automatic ibinigay ng mga Amerikano. Kaya nga dito, kung mapapansin natin sa larawan, meron dito ito yung mga unang guro dito sa Pilipinas. At sila ay tinatawag na Thomasites. At ito ay nagpapakita ng ginamit na sandata sa atin ng Amerikano ay isang nakakagulat na edukasyon. Sila yung ating mga naging unang guro na nakasakay sa barkong Thomas. Ito ay natanto sapagkat ang edukasyon ayon kay Constantino ay isang pinakamadaling paraan para masama ang isang bansa. Sapagkat nakapaloob dito ang pagbihag sa kaisipan at kamalayan. Yun, ang sistema ng edukasyon na itinatag ng mga Amerikano ay hindi maituturing na mayroong nag-iisang layunin na tulungan ng mga Pilipino mula sa kamangmangan na idinulot ng Kastilang kolonyal. Ngunit sa halip, ito ay naglalayon na sirain at basagin ang nasyonalistang kamalayan na iniwan ni Rizal at ni Bonifacio. Ito ay sinundan pa ng edukasyon ng mga Pilipino bilang isang kolonyal na paksa. Kaya nga, ang edukasyong hinahain noon ay upang makaakit sa mga Pilipino sa bagong Panginoon at para alisin ang kanilang nag-aalam ng nasyonalismo. Bilang isang kolonyal o colonial subjects, ang mga Pilipino ay tinuruan at sinanay bilang at para maging mamamayan ng mga Amerikano. So ang kolonyal na paksa ay naging isang kopyang puno ng kanyang kapatid kunong manlulupi. Ang bagong henerasyon ng Pilipino noong panahon na yun ay natutong nabuhay, nag-isip, at tumupo sa maka-Amerikanong pamamaraan. So, thinks, lives, and consume the American way. Dahil sa pamamagitan ng tinatawag natin American education. So, ang mga bagay na ito ay nagdulot ng pagkalipol ng pagka-nasyonalismo, pananaw ng mga Pilipino at nagsilbing mga unyangong mga Amerikano. At sa ganitong pagtingin, masasabi ko ang pagka-Pilipino ay nakaugat sa isang talamak ng panahon na yun na pagka-Amerikano dahil hindi ito sanhi ng kulerang nasyonalismo. So, ngayon, paano naman yung Pilipinisasyon bilang isang makabagong kolonyal na pagkakalangka? Noong ika-4 ng Hulyo 1946, ang bagong imperialismo ng Estados Unidos ay nagpatuloy sa pamamagitan ng mga nakatagong talikala, okay, nadulot ng Belgrade Agreement. Ito ay mga may piling na kasunduan na sineryuhan dahil sa pang-ekonomiyang dominasyon. So, ayon kay Sark, ang kapitalismo ay naging kolono sa pamamagitan ng pagbabago ng struktura ng lipunan. Ang paraan ng paggawa ay hindi na nakatuon sa lupa, kundi nakatuon na sa pamumuhunan o kapital. Sa konteksto ng ekonomiya ng Pilipinas, ang bagong imperialismo ng Estados Unidos sa pagbibigay ng buwat na kalayaan ay gumawa ng paggastos na kapangyarihan sa kanilang dating nasasakupan. Ang dating mananakop ang makikinabang mula sa lahat ng mga kalamangan at ang dating kolonya ay nilikha sa pamamagitan ng kapitalismo na naghahanap ng mga bagong pamilihan. Dahil dito, matutunghayan natin ang tunay na motibo ng mga Amerikano sa maling edukasyon na pinalawig sa ating noong panahon ng pananakop. Magugunita na tayo sinakop upang maging isang mamimili na tatangkilik ng kanilang mga produkto. At sa kasalukuyan, ang buong struktura ng lipunan ng Pilipinas ay nakaayon pa rin sa kapitalismong diktatura na makikita natin sa mga pataw ng mga polisiya ng World Bank, IMF, at Asian Development Bank. So, ngayon, kung titingnan natin dito, mapapansin natin kung bakit naghihirap ang Pilipinas, bakit meron tayong suliraning pinakaharap. Sinasabi na ito ay dahil sa oligarkiya, sa korupsyon. Pero isang pinakamalaking kalaban natin na sinasabi ay yung kolonyal na mentalidad. Kaya nga, ang hinahain ng mga nasyonalista ay tingnan, nagbalangkasin na, tingnan natin ano ba yung tunay na nating pagkakakilanlan, yung pagka-Pilipino. Pero, mapapansin natin, base sa aking ginawang talaangkanan, o matapos ko magkaroon ng isang makasaysayang materialistang talaangkanan, masasabi kong ito'y walang kabuluhan. At wala ding patutungan sapagkat ang nasyonalistang pagpapanayin ay nakabatay pa rin at nakapulong sa isang makabanyaga at kanuraning gawin. Unang-una, may problema na tayo doon sa terminolohiya ng Pilipino. So, ang tunay na dahilan ng pagkakasadlak ng ating lipunan ay dahil sa kalinangan ng mismo tayo ay nagsasabuhay na tayo Pilipino sa isip, salita at sa gawa. So, yan po yung katapusan. Kaya sa akin, meron pong ditong, ako ay na-remind kanina na matapos ko umattend ng parang session of Marxism. Na-remind ako sa talumpati ni Claro and Recto. Rizal as the realist and Bonifacio as the idealist. So, si Rizal ay nakikita na upusan ng revolusyon. Dahil kaya hindi siya umayon o sumali sa revolusyon laban sa mga Kastila o yung bloody revolution, dahil nakikita niya na magkakaroon ng pagbabago sa lipunan. Pero dito sinasabi na hindi pa tapos, sinabi ni Claro yung Recto na maging Bonifacio tayo, mangarap tayo. Kailangan natin ang pagbabago sa ating lipunan. At bilang mga pilosopo, ito ay isang imbitasyon na tingnan natin yung ating tunay na pagkakakilanlan sa pamamagitan ng praksis ng revolusyong pakikibaka. Maraming pong salamat.
Muli, magandang hapon po. Ako po si Chris Bolaños, matayo bilang Board of Directors. Supposedly ako ang maging moderator ngayon, tulungan ng ating kaibigan. Sapagkat ako ay nagbigay din ng or nag-present din ng papel kanina umaga sa NGO Call, panel ng mga PUP. Title of this Marxism and Climate Change. Masasabi ko rin na yung papel ni Ron ay konektado rin sa akin. Sapagkat kagaya na sinabi sa mga Amerikanong mananapon, yung biopolitical na production, yung pwedeng gamitin yung education siguro para ilagay sa konteksto ng biopolitics yung buhay. So para ayusin yung populasyon at mag-post sila ng office power sa... At ginagawa ito hindi lang siguro sa Pilipinas, sa Europa, sa Europa. So masasabi kong konektado ang aming gawa. At si Ginoong Abenes, mga kapatid, ay may Master of Arts in Philosophy na rin. Tapos na rin niya yun, at siya ay konektado ngayon sa Lyceum of the Philippines University. Okay, so ang susunod na magrepresenta ng papel ay walang iba kundi si Jamil Matalang, MA, from Ateneo de Manila University. Ang kanyang papel ay pinamagatang Aristotelian Theory of Justice and the Bangsamoro Secession. Welcome po.
Good afternoon to everyone. Before I begin, I would like to thank the Philosophical Association of the Philippines for accepting my paper and giving me an opportunity to present my paper in today's conference. And I would also like to thank you for your time and in coming to this session. I hope I'll be worthy of your time. My paper is entitled An Aristotelian Theory of Justice and the Bangsamoro Secession. The crucial political issue affecting the Philippine state is the threat of the Bangsamoro Secession. And the debate is to maintain the territorial integrity of the modern Philippine state, or to allow the Bangsamoro to secede from the Philippines. And in this paper, I don't have any intention to argue for either of this position. But my intent here is to explain why matters was brought to this point, using an Aristotelian theory of justice to present an explanation. Why is it that bakit pa tayo dumating sa punto na yung Bangsamoro gustong humiwalay sa sa Pilipinas. And I hope I could be able to do so. Okay. So the argument of my paper is this: that the Bangsamoro secession is a result of the injustices that the Bangsamoro people suffered under the Philippine state, and the Aristotelian theory of justice or philosophy of justice may explain this. Moreover, the Bangsamoro secession is a continuing struggle of the Bangsamoro people against Western colonization. This is my, in a way, the argument of my paper. But before I begin, let me give you some limitations. Now, recently, there's been development on the resolution of the Bangsamoro secession or the Bangsamoro problem. For instance, in the inception of the Bangsamoro secession, there was no autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao. But today, there's an autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao. And recently, because of the framework agreement on the Bangsamoro, there's now currently being created a new juridical entity called the Bangsamoro to replace the ARNM. Now, I did not take these matters into consideration in this paper because my intent here is to explain the development of secession, and in this case, the Bangsamoro secession. And by the way, my apologies also for some terms that I'll be using in this paper. For instance, recently, what is now being used is the term Bangsamoro. Yung isang word lang, no? Bangsamoro. No? So one word, Bangsamoro. Unlike if you observe in my title, there are two words, no? Bangsa and Moro. But today it's used as one, no? Bangsamoro. Now I would detain in this paper. I would detain this use of two words, no? Separate words, because yung Bangsamoro in one word would now seem to mean the people, the Moro people, instead of the Moro nation, unlike the Bangsamoro as a two words. So in this paper, I would like to maintain these two words. Okay, Aristotelian theory of justice. I think one of the, recently, if you in the study of philosophy, medyo nauso ata yung mga theory of justice. And I think of all the things that Aristotle said in the Nicomachean Ethics about justice, the contemporary philosophers of justice would have more interest with the things that he said about the particular justices. Dalawang sinabi niya, no? Merong general justice, which is justice as virtue, and itong particular justices, which is two. No? The theory of distributive justice and rectificatory justice. And then another, which I think, this one I used, I invented this term, although I think may gumagamit ito, yung theory of associative justice, which I included under this two also, yung reciprocal justice and the political justice, which are all found in the Nicomachean Ethics of Aristotle. I use the term associative because these principles of justice are principles that brings or bind together group of persons or a community. It brings persons into a community. Itong principle ng justice na ito. Okay. Distributive justice. Now, distributive justice is, the important thing there is that to understand distributive justice as equality and equality as proportionality. Hindi siya precise equality. No? And the example Aristotle used here is an example of business partnership. No? In business partnership, your share is proportional to what you have contributed to the business partnership. Diba? But so if, let's say, if 30% lang yung contribution to the partnership, and therefore your share would also, your share of the profit would also be 30% of the profit and not 50%, because it would be proportional to your contribution. Ito ang sinasabi niya na this is very important. This concept is very important in understanding distributive justice. Distributive justice is equality, and equality as proportionality. Similar in a business partnership. But however, the theory of distributive justice is not limited. It's not limited to a business partnership. Nor does Aristotle want to limit it into simple business partnership. But according to Richard Krauss, Richard Krauss is a commentator of Aristotle. I think he's an American philosopher. Now, he interprets this to mean that to include public office and recognition of persons' contribution in the community. For instance, distribution of ano ba yung distribution of public offices? No? This becomes problematic if you take into consideration that compared to the numbers of public offices and the numbers of citizens, mukhang mas konti yung number of public offices compared to the number of citizens. Okay? So therefore, there's a problem to in distributing this public office. Sino ba dapat ang nakaupo doon sa public office na yun? So how would it be distributed? No? Is a problem of distributive justice. Now, may mga category po dyan. There's a problem in Aristotle's time because this public office is to be distributed in terms of your merit. The Greek term is axia. Axia ang tawag ni Aristotle, in terms of your merit. Now, the problem during Aristotle's time is to interpret ang ibig sabihin ng merit or worth. No? Because according to Aristotle, for the Democrats, worth means or merit means simply the status of being free. That is, you're not a slave. No? And then, for the oligarchs, sabi ni Aristotle, worth or merit means that you belong to a wealthy family or it means your wealth. Now, another is for the aristocrats. Sabi ni Aristotle, worth or merit means your arte, your excellence. So, paano mo ngayon i-distribute yung office? Porket ba free man ka, pwede ka na ba doon sa public office? Or kailangan pwede lang mo sa public office yung mayaman. Or ang pwede lang mo sa public office yung excellent, may virtue. So, this is a problem now. No? And however, Aristotle did not resolve this issue in the Nicomachean Ethics. He resolved this elsewhere in his politics. Itong issue ng distributive justice. Okay, so paano i-distribute ngayon yun? No? Pero in his politics, according to Aristotle, it should be distributed in terms of it should be given, or distribution is to be given, the public office is to be given to those persons who could serve better the polis. Sino ang magpapakabutin? Not in terms of your money. No? In the Philippines, we're still grappling with this, no? Because although by our constitution, the public offices are open to any citizen, but the truth is, it's really open for the wealthy. Yung mayayaman lang talaga ang pwedeng maging presidente. Yung mayayaman lang talaga ang pwedeng maging senador. Medyo oligarch yung, so from Aristotelian perspective, yung Philippine state, medyo oligarch. Oligarch siya. Now, what about the just distribution of recognition of persons' contribution in a community? No? Ano ibig sabihin ito? Ang ibig sabihin ni Aristotle dito, hindi lamang parang ni Richard Grant, the way Richard Grant interprets this, hindi lang naman ang dinidistribute mo, you not only distribute in the community public office, but any other assets of the community, and including due recognition of one's contribution in the community. Halimbawa, yung isang atleta, meron siyang kinontribute doon sa state. Halimbawa, sa Pilipinas, si Manny Pacquiao. No? He gave us honor, so therefore may due recognition kay Manny Pacquiao. But however, the state will be unjust if the recognition given to a person, let's say to an athlete, is not due, is not proportional to his contribution to the state. Or halimbawa, you give recognition, you give due recognition to a particular activity, let's say boxing or any sports whatsoever, but you don't give due recognition to the contribution, let's say, of poetry in the state, or let's say of philosophy in the welfare of the state. If that's the case, then you're being unfair, you're being unjust, you're being unequal. Yun ang sinasabi ni Aristotle dito. So this is what he means now by distributive justice. To be equal in the distribution of social goods. But not precise equality, but based on your worth. Di ba? Unfair naman ata kung 30% lang yung contribution mo, ang bibigay sa'yo 50%. That's not equal, no? Unequal ngayon. But it includes any kind of social distribution. Ito ang sinasabi ni Aristotle of the distributive justice. I think sila John Rawls and contemporary philosophers also use this term, but I don't think if they use the term similar to that of Aristotle. Now, rectificatory justice. Now, according to Aristotle, rectificatory justice now involves what he calls voluntary and involuntary transactions of man between man. Voluntary transactions, ang tawag niya dito, is which would fall as civil law transactions. Like contracts, loans, pledge, these are because they're entered into voluntarily by parties. Now, involuntary transactions refers to, para sa atin, in our times, we could call this in criminal matters. Involuntary transactions include theft, murder, mga homicide, that would include involuntary transaction. So because the victim is just passive, hindi naman nag-volunteer ata ng pagpakamatay yung biktima ng murder. Na wala namang voluntary doon. Ang tawag ni Aristotle doon, involuntary transaction. And this is the object of rectificatory justice ni Aristotle. Now, so therefore, so this is what it means. Now, let me have some explanation. Note that for the philosophy of justice of Aristotle is justice is equality. That is the essence of the philosophy of justice ni Aristotle. Now, okay, let me explain. Now, with civil transactions, where does the unjust come into picture in a voluntary transaction? Let's say of sale, for instance. I think in terms of voluntary transaction, it's very easy. No? Let's say, if I'm the buyer and Mr. Abenis here, Mr. Roger here is the seller, and I paid for two objects, let's say dalawang bottles ng water. But Mr. Roger here gave me only one bottle. So napaka-unfair doon. Walang equality doon, di ba? Bumili ako, I paid for two, but I only received one. So clearly there's inequality. So therefore, in order to justice, there should be justice. It's either that Mr. Roger here return to me the excess money that I gave, or give to me the another bottle of water, so that I would have two bottles of water. That's clear for voluntary transactions. It's very easy to but with involuntary transactions, let's say murder, when is there gain? When is there loss in a murder? Medyo malabo ata yung issue na yon of justice. No? Kaya saan bang equality doon? Now, perhaps we could conclude that in this case, justice demands that how is there gain or loss, for instance, in murder? Perhaps we could conclude that in such a case, there has been undue advantage on the part of the perpetrator and injury to the victim. No? Let's say, in involuntary transaction like theft, for instance, no? That it gained the property of another. So, ninakaw ko yung bottle of water ni Mr. Roger, so I really gained something, is it not? Diba? But Mr. Roger lost something. That's clear in terms of theft. But what about murder? What about murder? What's my gain in murdering Mr. Roger? And what's the loss on the part of Mr. Roger? Perhaps because the injury is clear that there's a loss on the part of Mr. Roger, but what's my gain? Perhaps an escape, no? A way out. A way out to this problem is to go back to the distinction made by Aristotle between a simple wicked deed and that of an unjust act. In the Nicomachean Ethics, he makes a distinction between when is adultery a simple wicked act and when is it an unjust act. No? An adultery is a simple wicked act if it is done simply out of pleasure, when you're just being self-indulgent. Now, adultery is an unjust act if it is done for gain, or let's say for money. Now, how I wish I could be an adulterer for money. Hindi ko alam, yun ang example ni Aristotle made such an example. It's really weird, no? It's really hard to find someone who is an adulterer for money. But yun ang sinasabi niya. In that case, if I'm an adulterer for money, then I'm being unjust. Why? Because I have gain. But if I'm an adulterer simply for self-indulgence, simply for passion, kasi mahilig lang ako, then that is not an unjust act, but simply a wicked act. And sometimes I might lose something if I'm that kind of an adulterer. Now, but, so perhaps in murder, therefore, there's gain. Why? Because most likely murders are done for gain. No? They're made for payment. No? And that is why we don't call an insane person who killed someone an unjust person. Or something like that. But however, Richard Krauss, no, much of my interpretation of Aristotle is coming from the interpretation of Richard Krauss. Richard Krauss is I think one of the contemporary commentators of Aristotle. Richard Krauss explains rectificatory justice in terms of punishment and the principle of equality before the law. Now, what he means by this is that penal laws treats every individual as equal. Well, one, it has general application, means it applies to everyone. Okay? Whether you're a commoner, whether you're a king, it applies to everyone. There's equality there. No? Equality. And he calls therefore, Aristotle calls therefore rectificatory justice as an arithmetic equality. No? It doesn't look into your worth, unlike yung distributive justice, which looks at your worth. Rectificatory justice does not look at your worth. It is remindful of the blindfolded lady justice. No? Who doesn't look at your worth, whether ano ka pa or what. No? Kaya kung sa justice system, merong pabor-pabor, may injustice. That is very clear. And that's a very simple theory ni Aristotle. No? That is very clear. Kung pabor yung judge, kasi mayaman yung isa, that's clear injustice. Because he's not looking therefore in terms of equality. Now, but I think the principle of equality in relation to the principle of equality before the law in relation to rectificatory justice I think needs further clarification. What he means here is that what Aristotle means here is that if a crime is allowed without punishment, there is inequality. There's inequality really. If a crime is allowed with impunity, then there's injustice. Why? Because the perpetrator of the crime is made to be above the law. Diba? So if you're the criminal is above the law. And what happens to the victim? The victim becomes an inferior to the criminal. Why? Because the criminal could get away with what he wants, but the victim, the criminal could treat him inferior. So merong superiority and inferiority, and therefore there is no equality. There is injustice. Yun ang sinasabi niya. That is why if a criminal commits the crime, he or she must be punished to make amends for what to equalize. So punishment therefore is an equalizing element in Aristotle's theory of justice. Okay. Let us proceed with the theories of associative justice. And one of the theories there that is related to what I call associative justice is yung theory of reciprocal justice ni Aristotle. Okay. Reciprocal justice, we know it as lex talionis. No? An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. No? This is what we call reciprocal. This is what we know of reciprocal justice. But Aristotle do not understand reciprocal justice in that way. Because if we understand reciprocal justice in that way, then it is more of rectificatory, not reciprocal. So what does Aristotle mean of reciprocal justice? Reciprocal justice, according to Aristotle, is involved in commercial exchange. Is involved in commercial exchange. Where am I? Okay. So let's say it's something that brings person together, okay, and related with money. Now, for instance, there's reciprocity if think of barter. In barter, there are two. Let's say, just assuming that I will barter this bottle of water for Mr. Rogers' laptop, okay, and assuming that this bottle of water is worth Mr. Rogers' laptop. In that case, there's equality, and in that case, because there's equality there, me and Mr. Roger could exchange these goods. Okay? we could reciprocate. And therefore, since we were able to exchange with each other, there's an association between us. So therefore, justice there as equality brings us together. It brings us together. It makes us associate with each other. Now, if there's injustice, let's say, if the bottle of water is not equal to the laptop, then there would be no exchange. There would be no association between us. Yun ang sinasabi niya ng reciprocal justice. So justice, therefore, is something that brings persons together. It brings persons together. Okay? Otherwise, then we could go on our ways, then we don't have any connections at all. It won't bring us together. And this is what money, no? And Karl Marx went back to this chapter of the Nicomachean Ethics in his Das Kapital. He went back to this because itong reciprocal justice is now therefore expressed in money, because money is the equivalent of everything. It's made equivalent of everything in terms of in a society. That's why we could trade with each other, not anymore in a barter, but through money. Okay? And it goes together. Okay, let's proceed. Political justice. I have only 10 minutes. Political justice is just the justice between equal citizens. It is the justice that governs equal citizens. No. This is based on the rule of law and not the rule of men. No? It's based on the rule of law. What does it mean? No? That justice should not be, let's say, justice in terms of distribution should not be made in terms of the decision of one man. Because that would be tyranny. Why? But what's the problem with distributing the goods in terms of the decision of the one man? Well, most likely he would distribute more goods to himself than with the others, and less good things with himself. I think a very good example of this is yung family who is quarreling about inheritance. If you let the kuya decide on how to distribute their parents' wealth, then most likely the kuya, mostly kung magbibigay pa siya, okay. Pero pag hindi siya magbibigay, then mas kukunting ibibigay niya. Because it is simply based on his own decision, on his own whims. It cannot be based on the rule of man. It must be based on the rule of law. What does this mean, therefore? It means that, therefore, that in the implementation of, there must be a rule of law, there must be a law wherein we only have, therefore, magistrates. Someone who just distribute in accordance with a law. And in that case, everybody is equal. And this is the essence of Aristotelian. It's either natural or legal. Let me jump now. Okay, let us proceed with the Bangsamoro secession. The Bangsamoro secession, had this clearest expression in 1968 when Dato' Tugmatalang and the Mindanao Independence Movement declared the Republic of Mindanao and Sulu, no? Seceding from the Philippines. There was a manifesto published by this person and the Muslim Mindanao Independence Movement. But it faded in 1971. In 1972, the Moro National Liberation Front launched an armed secession. No? They were able to occupy several towns in Mindanao. Fortunato Abad wrote a book entitled The Day We Nearly Lost Mindanao, referring to the MNLF, the launch of the MNLF armed secession. Now, but in 1984, therefore there's the ARM, no? Autonomous Region Muslim Mindanao. In 1996, the chairman of the MNLF, Norm Miswari, became the governor of the ARM. And in 1984, the MNLF declared itself separate from the MNLF, the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, and continued an armed secession in the Philippines. Now, recently we know that there's a framework agreement on the Bangsamoro, and therefore, but does it mean that it ended? No? When Pinoy said that the MILF would now is now dropping their secessionist aspirations. But does it mean that the problem is solved? But I think no. The secession problem still lingers because recently there's a spin-off from the MILF, the Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighters. This group still aspires for an independent Bangsamoro. Okay, proceed. Now, what is this oppression of the Bangsamoro? Now, the Bangsamoro anchors their claim to secede from the Philippines because of historical injustice. there was a non-recognition of their independent status from the Philippines when the American granted independence in the Philippines. They claimed that we were unconquered people. The Spaniards did not conquer us, and if you observe in the lecture of Mr. Roger, we haven't even heard there of the word Moro. We were unconquered people, so therefore we should have been given an independent status equal to the Filipinos. But we were not. But instead, we were annexed. We were not given we were not asked our consent, and we were annexed to the modern Philippine state. And that is where they anchor their claim of independence. And this constitutes as an historical injustice. Now, in fact, under the Philippine rule, okay, Philippine land laws were quite unfair on the part of the Bangsamoro. The Public Land Act 718, which is an American law, okay, declared null and void all the land grants of Moro sultans and datus to anyone who was granted. So suddenly, the Moro people lost their land holdings because of this law. Because their title is now null and void. Similarly, this was reiterated by Commonwealth Act 141, the Quirino Recto Act. Okay? Now, under the yung declaring null and void, under this same act, no, a Moro could only apply for 4 hectares of land, compared to a Christian who could apply for 24 hectares of land. We don't know the reason, bakit Moro 4 lang? Pag Christian, 24 hektarya ng lupa o pwede. For a corporation, 1,024. Look at the disparity. Look at the inequality there. Now, they were displaced also. Ang claim ng Moro, we were displaced under the Philippine rule. Okay? In 1903, the Moro population is 76%. Non-Moro is 24% in Mindanao. But in 1990, the Moro is now only 19%, and the non-Moro is 81%. So they were minoritized because of aggressive resettlement of Christians in the Bangsamoro. Okay. But I think the Bangsamoro secession had a passionate claim, I guess, for secession because of the massacres, which was unresolved. Nobody was investigated according to them because of this. For instance, there was a 518 person massacre from March 1970 to 1971. This one I get from Salamat Hashim's statement. There's in Manili massacre in Cotabato, 77 Muslims were killed inside the mosque with point blank range. They were killed inside the mosque. There's this Kolong-Kolong massacre where more than 700 Muslims were massacred. In Taguig, 10 school girls were killed. And these were all uninvestigated and unresolved. Nobody was made accountable for this. That is why now they would like to, we should separate from the Philippine state because we will not be given justice. There's inequality. Another is that under the Philippine state, there's an economic and social disadvantage. The Moro is the ugly, the unkind, the dirty, and stupid. The Ilonggo calls it the muklo. I don't even understand the meaning of that. Now they're shut out of jobs, shut out of housing, and unwanted neighbors. I'm sorry, they're unwanted neighbors. For instance, recently, the Camellia does not allow a sale of house to a Muslim in Davao City. It doesn't allow. Kala ko pa naman itong si Villar, mabait sa mga mahihirap. It doesn't allow. Hindi po pwede. That is why Davao City was forced to make an ordinance called the Anti-Discriminatory Law. Where if any search not discriminate, but bawal, hindi namin alam ba, kilala ko po yung nakabayad na siya ng down payment, and after paying down payment, tinawagan siya pagkagabi, "Sir, patanong ko ba, Muslim po ba kayo?" And sabi niya, "Muslim ako." And then sinahuli po yung down payment. Sinahuli po yung down payment. At sabi, hindi siya pwedeng bumili ng bahay sa Camellia. Now, this is the sufferings of the Moro under the. So let me, So clearly, the secession was caused by inequality, injustice. Now, injustice is rooted in our colonial past. The inclusion of the Bangsamoro in the nation was an unjust distribution. Yung hindi siya pinagbigyan ng independence, and under PHL, the Moros people suffered unequal or unjust treatment. So clearly, therefore, kaya gusto magsisig ng Bangsamoro coming from an Aristotelian perspective of justice. Kasi they were not treated equally. They were, di ba? They were not treated. Kaya ngayon, they wanted to secede. So therefore, the Bangsamoro secession is really a problem of justice. That is why, in my argument again, I would like to reiterate, okay? But this is it. It is wrong to wholly blame the Filipino for these injustices. Because, according to Aristotle, okay, justice is a political office. The ones who distribute are the ones who holds political office. So therefore, the person who were unjust here were those in political office. So it's very important, therefore, for the persons in political office to be just. That is, to treat everyone equally. Because, diba, note that justice is what binds persons together. If justice is what binds persons together, then therefore injustice is what would break them down. What would disintegrate our society. And this is seen in the Bangsamoro secession. Because there's injustice, the Bangsamoros now wanted to separate, doesn't want to associate themselves with the Philippine state. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for that insightful paper of yours. Your theory of justice and Bangsamoro secession. So, I'm now opening this session of question and answer. Please don't forget to, you can take the microphone, but please don't forget to state your name and your institution as well. No? I'm not sure how many questions we can accommodate, but I think we can go until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So, can I have the first question? Yes, please.
I'm Jeremiah from Diwang. My question is for Rodrigo. Tama ba? Okay. So una-una salamat sa yung Talaangkanan. Mahusay. I guess my question is with regards to Marx. Don't you think that there's a certain irony, a certain paradox almost, that you are using what is essentially a Western philosophy to criticize the Western influence on our country and our people? And, we know, of course, that Marx didn't just come out of thin air, you know, without the influence of Hegel, Feuerbach, and the rest. And the whole German tradition, you wouldn't have Marx. And I guess, in addition to that, when you kasi yung concluding statement mo is mabuhay ang pakikibaka, diba? When you accomplish that, when you sort of turn your back on what we've inherited from the Spanish tradition and the American tradition, what would you be left with? Because that's also a question I have in my own research, because I know a lot of our friends, our Filipino scholars, they want to sort of say, let's forget the Spanish, the American traditions, let's just go back to the roots, let's be primitive Filipinos now. And it's very romantic, but I don't think it can be done. Because when you do that, you're not left really with anything. Unfortunately, we don't have, unlike the Chinese tradition, we don't have written records. Even what Rizal tried to do with the Morga, it was not, it was not a success, at least as he wanted it to be. So I guess that's my question.
Maraming po salamat, Sir Jeremiah. Sa totoo lang po, isang problema yung ginawa kong pagbabalangkas sapagkat ang ginamit ko sa pagbasa sa pagka-Pilipino ay masasabi mo ito ay nasa makabanyagang pamamaraan dahil ginamit ko si Karl Marx. Kasi po, ang isang suliranin ko ay wala akong mahanap na pamamaraan ng pagbabalangkas. Siguro po, ito yung suliranin na pinakarap ng ating filosofiya. At ang ginawa ko na lang po dito, kasi kung bakit si Karl Marx ay masyado akong nahilig sa kanyang pamimilosofiya dahil yung nararanasan natin, yung common experience kasi ay yung pamimilosofiya sa pamamagitan ng mga banyagang paraan ay masasabing kung yun ang gagamitin mong break. Pero sa akin wala akong problema kung nakapaloob din yung common experience eh. Ako, common experience ko bilang isang tao na naninirahan dito sa Pilipinas. At nakita ko na merong suliranin na kinakaharap. At paano ko iimbestigahan yung pagka-Pilipino sapagkat kung titingnan natin yung dialektiko naman, hindi naman siya makabanyagay. Yung flow ng dialectics, hindi siya makabanyagang pamamaraan. Nagkataon lamang na si Karl Marx yung nagbukas nun. Pero kahit si Karl Marx ang hindi nagbukas nun, meron na ibang tao, pwedeng sabihin natin na nasa ibang lugar, na pwedeng mag-analisa ng mga ganung mga bagay-bagay. So, ngayon po, yung pangalawa naman po, ano ba yung ano natin na kasagutan? Sa totoo lang po, yung aking papel ay mas nagbukas ng maraming katanungan. Pero sa pagbubukas ng maraming katanungan na ito, ay mas tinignan ko to sa pamamagitan ng dialectics. Mali na tingnan yung pagkakinanlan natin, yung tunay na pagka-Pilipino pagkakinanlan. Kasi hindi naman tayo Pilipino noon, yung natives tayo. Yun po yung gusto kong i-pinpoint. Paano mo hahanapin yun? Kaya ang mas maganda, tingnan na lang natin siya sa pamamagitan ng dialektikong pamamaraan at doon maaari tayo mag-umpisa. Kasi makikita natin nung panahon ng mga sa kasalukuyang panahon, ano ang pagka-Pilipino? Kasi po ang problema, kahit yung kasaysayan natin distorted na, it's because of Western colonization. So, ngayon, ang isang pagpapanaya doon ay paano natin, ako marami akong pwedeng mabuhay yung sinasabing revolusyon pakikibaka. Pero sa akin po, ang kasagutan ko doon, si Rizal sa anotasyon niya, pwedeng hindi siya naging successful kasi meron pa rin siyang yung sinasabi ni Mike na fetish. Pero kung titingnan natin, si Rizal kasi nagbigay siya ng alternatibo. At yun yung tinatawag niyang edukasyon. At yung edukasyon na yun, is that kasi sa aking pong mga research ay pinapakita na edukasyon na yon would be kailangan i-educate muna yung mga api para sa susunod na panahon ay hindi sila maging mapanlupi. Pero ito po yung bukas na aking ilalahad sa aking pananaliksik. Magkasama po tayo dyan kaya hindi ko agad kayo mabibigyan niya ng paliwanag. Pero bukas po, yun po ay aking talaga ipapaliwanag ng maayos. Maraming salamat po.
Continue with the questions. Anyone else want to raise a question? Speakers here. Or maybe rejoinders, any insights? Yeah, someone is saying.
Russell Kainam, an undergraduate philosophy major at Ateneo de Manila University. I'd like to ask Mr. Abenez about what's the place of philosophy if you say that yung kabataan na yung daan para patungong palitan yung makibakan, palitan yung pananaw natin kung ano ibig sabihin ng Pilipino. Anong lugar po ng filosofiya po? Paano po malalagay yung filosofiya sa mga utak ng mga kabataan po ngayon na pwedeng magawang makibag tungkol para po makaisip po sila at tunay po maka-reflect po tungkol sa mga issue po natin ngayon. May lugar po ba yung filosofiya po?
Ito ay maraming salamat, Russell. Ang pamimilosofiya ay may lugar. Ito ay binigyan ng palangkas ni Karl Marx. Sinabi niya that the philosophers have interpreted the world but the point however is to change it. Yun yung isang, kaya nga sabi ko, sa pamamagitan nito, pwede natin itong tingnan sa pamamagitan ng isang revolutionaryo na praxis. Pero, ang pamimilosofiya na pwede natin gawin, yung sinasabi nito, Dr. Demetrio ay parang gamitin natin yung critical na pamumusupiya. Yun yung isang kasi, ito yung kaya nagiging critical. For example, minsan nga naiingit ako sa mga iba't ibang philosopher, luminaries, kagaya ni John Masison, Elisa. Sila ay lumilosopiya sa labas ng akademya. At talagang binago nila yung lipunan. Ako gusto kong mamilosopiya sa labas ng akademya, ngunit ang problema ay wala akong pagkakakitaan. Yun yung isang problema. Na gusto kong baguhin, gusto kong makisali sa lansangan, at gusto kong marami akong mga proyekto, pero mas gusto ko na, ang ginagawa ko na lang ngayon, gumagawa na lang ako ng pananaliksik para pag-ibayuhin talaga yung diwa laban sa kolonyalismo na sooner or later na pwedeng in a way or another ay mapagpabago sa ating lipunan. Kahit nga minsan walang budget sa research, ginagawa namin. Dahil ito, sa pamamagitan ng si Karl Marx, gumawa siya ng research, naghihirap siya sa pamamagitan ng kanyang pananaliksik. Pero nabago niya yung lipunan. So, ang question doon, yung pamimilosopiya ba natin, yung sabi nga ni Karl Marx, abstract lang ba yan? Ng pamimilosopiya, nandun lang ba tayo? O kailangan natin pumunta at para baguhin yung lipunan natin ginagalawan? So, yun yung place ng pamimilosopiya. Kaya nga, yun yung isang siguro, ito yung limitasyon ng isang pamimilosopiya dito sa Pilipinas. Sapagkat yung pamimilosopiya sa ibang bansa, nakapagdulot yun ng revolusyon. Kagaya ng French Revolution, kagaya ng filosofiya ni Marx, nakapagdulot ng iba't ibang klaseng revolusyon. So, yun yung pwede kong mailigay. Kasi ang pamimilosopiya ay isang mahalaga rin sandata para baguhin natin yung lipunan na ginagalawan natin. Sapagkat dito, matuturuan tayo maging kritikal sa kasalukuyang paraan ng produksyon. Maraming salamat.
From Enron studying business. So I have a question for Jamil Matara. And like you can choose to answer this or not. If you
choose nothing. Please, I choose to answer.
Because in your presentation, you more of just revealed facts. But like, what is your personal stand on it? Do you think it's really possible for like the conflict in Mindanao to end, and then like, or do you think you should just give them their freedom?
Give them the freedom.
Like, what's your stand on that?
What's my stand? Let's say on the Bangsamoro. Okay. So let's say that would be a personal question. Well, personally, I have to admit that I have a romantic and a hopeless aspiration for a independent Bangsamoro. Being a Moro, I have that. No? And it's romantic and hopeless because I don't think that there would be peace in this world. No? Maybe I'm a romantic. I'm a romantic. I think that I admire what I call yung mga analytics. I really admire their optimism that they think that they could solve problems. But I'm really a romantic and hopeless. So I think the world will be what it is forever. It won't really change. I don't believe that the world will change. Personally, I think that it will be what it is forever. But if you really think, I think that in case that there will be a separate Bangsamoro, I think that in terms of management, it will be more feasible because you're now to manage a smaller area. So you have smaller problems, and therefore it could be easily managed. Let's say, for example, look at Singapore. Kasi maliit yung Singapore, madaling nga i-manage, madaling i-distribute yung goods, yung social goods, kasi maliit yung lugar. Ngayon, tingnan mo sa Pilipinas, kasi problema ng Pilipinas yung ekonomiya ng Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, tapos may problema pa sila sa Mindanao, halimbawa. So yung budget, yung goods ng Pilipinas, the goods of the Philippines, should be, some of the goods would be distributed to solve the armed rebellion sa Mindanao. So that would be a cost. No? So I think that if in case the Philippines would be, the Bangsawaran supposedly be given independence, although hindi naman kiniklaim ng MILF ngayon yun, no? Ang gusto ng MILF na lang ngayon, autonomy. I think it one, kasi hindi na problemahin ngayon ng Pilipinas. Yung problema sa rebellion sa Mindanao. So, ang problemahin na lang niya, yung Luzon, Visayas, halimbawa. So, mas maliit yung problema nila. Tapos, mas madali yung problema. Now, what about kasi may resources naman yung Mindanao. Kaya saan mo kukuha yung Luzon, Visayas? Di ba? Kung territory ng Pilipinas pati yung Mindanao, so therefore, the resources of Mindanao could also be utilized by Luzon, Visayas. That's I think one problem. I think that if based on agreement, separate states could, freely associate, pero naman siguro may mga trade agreements so that they could share each others well. So if you ask me, I think it could be in a way feasible in terms of managing because it's smaller. It's smaller. And let's say in Aristotle, mas gusto ni Aristotle yung maliliit na alam plate na Aristotelian, pero mas maliliit yung yung lugar ko, mas madaling i-manage asa. But I don't think that's something certain. Okay? That's my personal opinion. Thanks.
I have a question for Mr. Pantano. I was wondering if it would be possible if philosophy actually played a role in resolving the conflict in such a way that philosophy allows people, the Filipino people in the Bangsamoros, to be able to kind of come to a compromise in what it means to be a Filipino, to merge somehow their identity with the identity that we portray as Filipino. But yes, it is problematic in the sense that, for me, I think it's kind of media-centric on how Manila is the Philippines itself rather than the Philippines being treated as a whole. Most of what the news and what the world sees as the Philippines comes from Manila. I rarely hear news coming from Davao, for example, or from other parts of the Philippines. It treats as though Manila itself is the Philippines. And I think, would it be possible if philosophy had a role in reflecting on what we can think of as being a Filipino and merge that identity so that they wouldn't have to feel injustice because they are part of that identity? Because right now, as you've said, it doesn't seem like the Bangsamoro people don't think of themselves as Filipinos because they are a separate identity altogether.
I think your question is whether philosophy has in a way relevance in, even if I'm correct, wrong, say in creating something like a Filipino identity. Okay. Let me comment on your answer. I do not really think that the identity of Manila as the Filipino is media-centric. I think that it really involves our education. For instance, it's not really just media-centric. For instance, I was given an opportunity I was invited in AIM to give feedbacks on the K+12 on the Muslims implementation of the K+12 in the curriculum of Muslim students in the public schools. And I observed the Araling Panlipunan syllabus, the syllabus for the Araling Panlipunan from grade 1 to grade 7. And I really observed there that there's not, the word Mindanao did not really appear in that very thick syllabus. Now, so my feedback is, when are we going to teach the Filipinos about the issue of the Bangsamoro? Kaya naman natin tuturuan yung mga, for instance, teaching, if you're a history teacher, for instance, one of your major question is, when do I include in my teaching the history of Mindanao? Saan ako papasok? When would I, where? No? I've attended conferences and these are echoed by many history teachers. Saan ko ngayon ipapasok yung history of Mindanao kapag natuturo ako ng Philippine history? Sa pre-Spanish ba? After the revolution, himagsikan, saan ang Mindanao doon? This is, I think, a problem. And I think that, in a way, to answer your question, I think that in education, we should really include yung issue about the Bangsamoro succession. Because one, there are two things that are very unfair about that. No? One is that if you don't teach that to students in Mindanao, let's say yung mga Muslim or yung mga Moros, you don't teach that issue in them, then this would be picked up by the rebels. They would say that, look at that, oh, they don't teach that to you. Why? Because they're hiding that from you. So therefore, it would breed rebellious sentiments. Tinatago sa, bakit tinatago nila sa inyo yan? Diba, that's an injustice. Why are they keeping that from you? So if not open, on the other hand, it is unfair to the students in Luzon and Visayas because they're not being critical. How can you be critical if you're misinformed? If you don't know the issues And this is not shown in the syllabi of the K+12, grade 1 to grade 7. Wala yung, andun pa rin tayo sa diniscover ni Magellan ang Pilipinas. As if we don't exist when we only existed when Magellan came to our island. Andun pa rin tayo. Andun pa rin tayo. And I think philosophies would be very, very relevant. One of the issues that I observed in attending conference, one of the debates is this. They say that the problem with philosophy, is that it doesn't have practice. Wala siyang praxis. I don't really agree with that. I think the problem is that praxis or practice has no philosophy. Kaya ka mo magulo. And I think that philosophy would be very relevant. Look at that. In my presentation, I wasn't able to make kasi time constraint tayo Ang solution dapat kasi doon, yung those who are holding political offices must have good philosophy of justice. Pag public official ka, dapat mayroon kang philosophy of justice. Kung wala kang filosofiya, di talagang kung mabara-bara ka lang dyan, talagang magkagulo. So I think that philosophy would be really, really relevant, in creating a truly Filipino identity. Something like that, if you really ask me. I hope I was able to answer your question.
Gusto ko lang kasi yung katanungan mo kasi may konting slide din ng problema. Kasi kung titignan natin, ipapakita sa mga Moro yung pagka-Pilipino. Isang malaking problema yun. Dahil yung mga Moro, kaya sila nakikipaglaban dahil malakas yung identity nila Conscious sila na merong systemic violence na nangyari nung nagkaroon ng Treaty of Paris na nabili ng mga Amerikano ang Pilipinas at kasama doon ang Moro, ang Bangsamoro. Yun yung isang problema doon. Tapos biglang tinawag silang mga Pilipino. So yun yung isang napakalaking problema doon sa identity na sinasabi. Paano mo maipapakita yung Filipino identity kung napapansin nila na merong problema yung regionalism sa nationalism? So kaya nga, ako pwede makapagbigay ng kasagutan dun sa, yung papel ko kasi marami pwede maging kasagutan Ang isang pwede niyang, dun sa problema ng Bangsamoro pwede, dahil dun sa problema ng Diwang Pilipino, bakit hindi na pinag-usapan namin ni Sir? Sir, pwede bang federalism dito sa Pilipinas?
It's a viable solution.
It's a viable solution na pwede ito, nagbubukas din ng political na pamamaraan ng movement na pwedeng mangyari sa bansa. Kasi sa pamamagitan ng federalism, yung identity as Cebuano, as Moro, as Tagalog, ay yayabong. At sa pagyabong ng identity na yun, iba kasi yung nations and state Sa pagyabong na yun, pupuspong din yung identidad natin bilang tayo. Kasi ang problema education. History ng Pilipinas, itinuturo sa mga Moro, hindi naman sila kasama sa kasaysayan. So isang problema yun.
Wala na kami dun sa star ng...
So kaya yun yung isang napakalaking problema na kinakaharap. Bago mo muna, kasi nationalism etymologically came from the word natio. Ibig sabihin, it's the place from where you are born. Pero paano usbong yung nationalism sa'yo kung yung identity mo bilang Moro ay hindi pinapakilala sa edukasyon na itinuturo sa eskwelahan? So yun yung isang problema dyan. So kaya medyo, sabi ko, may konting problema doon sa katanungan na yun. Tapos ang problema pa, yung struktura ng ating pamahalaan, masyadong Manila imperialism. Yung budget, etc., kung paano yung distribution, isang problema yan. So, yun yung isa sa mga pwedeng viable solution na pwede namin maibigay.
I would like to just react to Mr. Sanes. Although I told you that I have an hopeless and romantic aspiration for an independent Bangsamoro state, but I really think that the issue with identities or having an intact Philippine state, I think could really be resolved if we could just be equal or fair to each other. If there's really justice, yun lang talaga yun. If you ask me yung problema ng justice yan Not only the Bangsamoro secession, but kahit yung mga rebellion ng communists. So it's all about, I think, would say, an issue about injustice. Kamo kung may filosofiya tayo ng justice, I think you could minimize this problem. So that is, if you could treat everyone as equal, I think everybody, but the world is unequal, yung mga problema.
Maybe I can accommodate one more question. Because we're about to hit, we only have 3 minutes left. So.
I am Ateneo de Manila of Bohol State University. We're also planning to have our own republic in Bohol. I have just a simple question. Sir, how would you give justice to a person from Manila, a person from Visayas, a person from Mindanao?
Then I could give justice to them if I treat
Based on
them equally.
identity claim.
Identity claim, then I would have to treat them equally, I would say. I would treat you as a Boholano, I would treat you as a Cebuano, I would treat you as a Tagalog.
As an equal
Equal person, as an equal. I think that if I treat you equally, then I think there would be problem.
Because I have an issue with regards to justice when related to equality. For example, if you are then a mother having four children, how would you divide one piece bread to your 4 children? If it is equality, you have to divide it in equal parts.
It would really depend on the worth, no? Kung ganon, kung may division ng depende po yung sa bakit it's a hard issue, but I think that you have to be proportional. No? It couldn't be a precise equality. Okay. Hindi mo pwedeng dun sa isa, kailangan lang niya isang slice lang, yung isa kailangan dalawa, ibibigay mo dun sa isa yung dalawa, or 1.5 if no. I think it would be really proportionate pa rin. It doesn't mean, by equality, it doesn't mean absolute equality naman.
Because
Depende rin po sa ano yan.
that is still giving what is due.
What is given due. Hindi naman kailangan precise po yung equality dun sa equality.
Thank you, sir.
I hope I could also able to answer.
So ready to open up the line time. So I guess I'm formally closing the session now. But before we go, we can look at small certificate. Maybe Sir Raymond can assist me in giving the citations.
The Philosophical Association of the Philippines would like to give the certificate of